February.
Yes.
And go through the 1st of March.
Yes.
It's going to be downtown at the Joyce. And that's a space for you. That's a good space for you.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's intimate. Yeah, I like the intimacy. The space is gorgeous. Yeah, and so it feels like home. We've been there since '99, right? So always looking forward to it, and we try and do something that Mrs. Schoenberg also told me. She said, don't always give in to the pressure of doing something new.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that, right? I'm so glad you said that. I go through that with a lot of artists. They are artistic directors, and Robert Joffrey said to me once, and said, you know, because I have to fundraise and run a school and this and that, I let Jerry, was telling me, Jerry Pina do the and this guy, I always joke at it, he was maybe this tall fellow, but he had a way of looking down at you, and I'm looking really good time just looking down at you. But to make a long story short, I find that choreographers feel the pressure every season to bring 2 new works, 2 new works. And then sometimes they haven't had the time to develop them. So in a way, they aren't really bringing their vision forward. They're satisfying a board member's request.
Or presenters.
Yeah, exactly.
And so each year, and I tell my agent and my board, it really takes me 2 years, right? From an idea, to understand the idea, to find the music, to write about it, before I can walk into the studio. So don't, right? So every season, like I said, you want to make sure people know where you're coming, where you've been, where you come from. And so the subtle one is our most recent piece. And so what I try and do is bring the thing we did last year, but it has evolved, and I'll add something new. So this year we're having Jason Moran and the Bandwagon, his trio, perform live. So that's going to take it to a whole other level. So that's new, but then we're going to do sections from Lessons, which is from 1995. A duet march that was for 2 guys. I have 2 women doing it. So it's something old, but I'm going to relook at it. And then we're going to do Exotica from that piece too. And then, so that's 95, and then Grace, which we haven't done in a minute, and that's from 99, right? Then on the other program, we have Gatekeepers that I did on Philadelphia. So that's another thing that work that I put on another company, usually, and I have this detachment about choreography. I mean, I love to choreograph, but once I give it to Evidence or give it to another company, it's fine. It kind of lives over here there. It's fine. But Arcel, the associate artistic director, he's always like, because he's my assistant, setting things that, oh, we should do this. I'm like, oh, that belongs to them. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. But then if that company is out doing it any longer, or I give them a 3-year exclusivity, and then Evidence can do it. So Gatekeepers, Evidence has been doing it for a minute now, so we're going to do that. And again, there's a role that was for a woman, I've given to a man. And so I shifted so that it becomes something else. I'm doing a solo called Through Time and Culture, the American Dance Festival commissioned. And so I inherit solos in my own work where, okay, the dancers need a break. So inside of a piece, I may have a solo to let them change costumes or have a break. Or if the ancestors tell me, you need to be in this because they need the uncle in there. And then we're doing Why You Follow, a piece I put on a company from Havana, Mount Paso last year. And again, I wanted to do it, but they're coming in right after us at the Joyce. So I was like, okay, we can't do it because they're probably going to do it. And then I found out they weren't going to do it. And I was like, oh, great, we could do it, right? But again, this piece that I put on this other company is stuff that I would not have put on Evidence. Right. And so now I'm in there making the changes to make it ours.
Well, that's great. It's like taking a garment, like if you were a fashion designer and you dressed one tall person and you're putting it on another person, right, different type, body type. So that's perfect. So if people want to see these works,
yes,
we know that everybody he's going to sell out. It's a great, you always present a great concept. So get your tickets early to come see us. And Ron, I really want to thank you, as I always do every artist. All of you are really in the midst of a rehearsal period, and you took the time out to talk to us.
Thanks for coming by. And so it's two programs.
Program A.
Program A.
And a Program B.
Yes.
So again, I want to thank you, and much continued success. And it's been fun watching you over all this time, because I've seen different things myself, which are, it's always good to see an artist evolve. And then they go through different periods where I saw you do a solo once. I was hoping you would bring it back. And I saw you start to work on a piece of Stevie Wonder.
Yes. Yeah, that piece is on Earth Together. And so I had done two solos to his music. One from 1987 called Next, when my mom's oldest brother, Keita Muhammad, made his transition. And he was, I have a great relationship with on my father's side, my grandfather and Poppy. My father and I, we look just alike, right? But my father moved down to North Carolina, and us too. But my grandfather, we would go down there with him. But in Brooklyn, my uncle Keita was like the man in my rock. And so when he made his transition, I was like, oh my goodness, what is, right? And so when I was approached to do a piece to the music of Stevie Wonder, what I considered doing it, by Renee Williams from the Music Center in LA. And so great. I've done two solos, that one in Evil for Dr. Johnson, Dr. Sherelle Berman Johnson from Howard University. So I knew I wanted to revisit those songs, but expand them, right? Another take on it. And it is mind-blowing, like what has happened. I've done it with recorded music, I've done it with live music performed by folks from Corby and Best. Then I had Karen Wheeler and Gordon Chambers sing. And then in Brooklyn, we had a 2-week season at Brook House. I added 15 people one week, 15 people the next week, ages 8 to 73. We did it in South Bend last week, and we're about to go to Pittsburgh to do it, and audition folks to do it. So that's another incredible thing I get to do.
I want to ask you, a lot of artistic directors do perform with their dancers, and a lot decided I'll stay back. How does that feel for you? Because that's the third eye. You have to. It's almost like you put yourself into work, and I know you have people who watch it and give you feedback.
I try not to be in it. I try not to be in it unless I have to, right? And so, like the piece "While You Follow," there's the same number of people, and their artistic director, Osnell. We've been arguing like who should it be, and I was like, oh, I don't know, maybe I'll eliminate that role, but I know the whole piece is Why You Follow, right? But it's really not a question, but a matter of fact, why do we do what we do? And it's just to be obedient, right? But also to follow the leader or the youngest person, that we're all making this space, being it together. So all of a sudden I'm in a role that I would not have given myself, but I have inherited the part. But I coach and direct everyone, and then I become a little dancer. And they say, okay, where are you going to be? Can you slow down? Da, da, da. And so then I have to take the notes from the dancers and give the notes I gave them right back to me. And it's great. And then I have good friends who are like, you need to slow down. Or sit down.
Or sit down, right. Now, you mentioned this, and I wasn't going to, but since you mentioned it. A couple of years back, it's been a couple of years now, you choreographed Corby and Best. Now I know that's a whole different experience.
Yeah.
Coming in as a choreographer with a director.
Right.
And directors have a tendency to edit and to alter and play God. But sometimes with the choreographer it's considered sacred material.
Yeah, I don't. That's sacred. It was a great relationship with Diane Paulus. When I met with them, I was in Chicago working at Joyce Theater, and I got an email that they were going to work on this reimagining of Corby and Best for the musical theater stage, right? The opera will stand, but we're going to try this other thing. And so I came back and I met with Deidre Murray, who was arranging the music, and Diane Paulus. And I said, well, do you want a choreographer, or do you want a choreographer for hire? Which for me is, you already know what you want.
Right.
And they said, oh, we need someone on the team. to tell us where dance should be. I said, okay, great. They said, well, this was Monday. They said, you need to tell us now because we want to send a press release out on Friday. So I said, yes. And it was really amazing. So I went there and I gave the cast all the information I had about South Carolina. And I had to show Diane Paul, the director, my ideas before I taught them to the cast. But you know, she said, "Oh, okay, I don't like that," and then I would come up with something else. But it wasn't her like changing things behind my back.
You know, when I saw it, one of the things I loved was the tableaus that you worked in the funeral. I thought that was beautiful, and the lightning, with the way they moved, almost it almost looked like Rembrandt. When you set them into the shadow.
Yeah, and that I remember when they were learning the music, we had 3 weeks of them just learning the music. And I said, and so I'm there, you know, because I know it needs to learn music, and I had spent a lot of time with Diane watching all these different versions of the operas, and I could tell her, so at the picnic, you know, they're not dancing like that. She said, oh, I know, I said, I'm just letting you know that my ideas were where they're going to be. And so during them learning the music, I said, can I have like 3 days with them, just to get them out of these seats. And so the first day, I think I worked on the picnic stuff. And somebody was like, this. I said, okay. 32 people said, okay, drop your arms down. Okay. You have to be open. And someone said, oh, we used to people counting. I said, yeah, I don't count. Learn this rhythm. And then the other moment, I said, so let me go into the room, and we went away from the stands. And we're in a private studio. And we had someone lay on like there was someone was in a coffin. They just taught them morning dancing, and we talked about the stages of grief, and that is how that experience.
That was beautiful. The way it captured it, and then the people around. You don't want to know something works. It's not when I like it. When the people around me feel it, they go, or it takes them. Well, I'm going to stop here, but I could talk to you for another hour. But thanks again.
Well, thank you very much.